The Raptors put on an absolutely sensational performance against the Indiana Pacers, and even though we give the starters a lot of credit, there needs to be a lot said about Dalano Banton. So in today's video, we analyze his impact on the Raptors and what the future could hold for the exciting prospect from Rexdale. Let's get into it. Welcome NBA and Raptors fans, this is Amateur Sports, your source for everything Raptors. We do Raptors news, media coverage, mock trades, breakdowns, and so much more. So if you like what you see from today's video, we want more of myself, talk about the Raptors in videos just like this, make sure you are subscribed to Amateur Sports and help us on a road to 8,000 subscribers and enjoy 4+ Raptors videos a week. But let's get down to business. We're talking about Dalano Banton today because in the first few games of the season, Dalano Banton was used sporadically by Nick Nurse on the court. But in those limited roles that Dalano Banton had, he seemed to be the energy builder that the Toronto Raptors needed. And he always produced really good performances despite playing something like 8 minutes per game in the first 4 games of the season. We can attribute a lot of this to the first game of the season against the Washington Wizards, where the Raptors looked absolutely lost with no effort, no real heart. But then Dalano Banton comes in and completely changes the narrative of the game. Now, he still got blown out, kind of, but it was a lot more respectable after Dalano Banton checked in. But how about in an actual close game? So let's go to the Indiana Pacers, where before the game, after the 4th game of the season, Nick Nurse was asked, the Raptors were 1-3, he was asked about not playing Malachi Flynn very often. In fact, not really playing him at all. And Nick Nurse spun the question differently. So being asked why Malachi isn't getting more minutes, he spun it to, you shouldn't be asking me about Malachi Flynn getting more minutes. You should be asking me about Dalano Banton getting more minutes because he's only getting 8 minutes a game. And every time he comes in, he is changing the complexion of the game. Well, Nick Nurse put those words into practice by putting Dalano Banton into a great role in yesterday's game. In fact, Malachi Flynn only played about a minute of garbage time. Goran Dragic did not play at all. Dalano Banton was the backup point guard in this game, and wow, did he have a great game. The first half wasn't really his half, but when he checked in the second half, the third quarter, the end of the third quarter and the start of the fourth quarter, that section of the game with Dalano Banton on the court was absolutely spectacular. It seems like when he comes into the game, the pace of the game completely changes. He injects so much pace, so much fluidity into the Toronto Raptors. In fact, he was also hitting his 3-point shots yesterday, which was a little bit unexpected. But why he was working so well in this game is because Dalano Banton works so quick with the ball in his hands. But in the first half, the Raptors were kind of getting stumped on occasion by the Pacers clogging up the paint. But as our 3-point shots started to fall, in fact, at a very good clip yesterday, that opened up so much more space for Dalano Banton to operate on the interior. And also him hitting his 3-pointers, that also helped with the spacing for himself to get to the rim and create for other players as well. So Dalano Banton, I mean, how did we get here with Dalano Banton? If you're like me, many of you may not have heard of this player leading into the NBA draft. I put my primary focus on the lottery and a secondary focus on the first round, but didn't really look closely at second round prospects because, I mean, I just don't simply have the time. But Dalano Banton, to the people who are dedicated to doing these mock drafts, these predictions and all that, a lot of mock drafts have Dalano Banton going in the late 50s of the draft. A lot of mock drafts had Dalano Banton, well, not even getting selected in the draft. But how did the Raptors end up with this guy with a 46 overall pick? Well, Dalano Banton is a 21-year-old player. He's soon to be 22. And he played his first season of college ball with Western Kentucky University. This was off the back of Dalano fortunately catching the eye of a scout in high school. He was playing originally in high school in a local school, local to Rexdale, and then he went to the U.S. to gain more exposure, where this scout stumbled upon Dalano and brought him to Western Kentucky University. In his first season and only season at Western Kentucky University, his stats were not eye-popping by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, in his games there, 15 minutes a game, he averaged 3.4 points, 3 rebounds, and 2.1 assists. Nothing really that spectacular there, but the scouts, the coaches at Western Kentucky U, they knew there was talent in this player, and they knew that to get the best out of this talent, he had to go somewhere else. So they encouraged him to transfer to Nebraska, where this meant in his second season, he really wouldn't be able to actually get on the court. He would have been a red shirt for the full season for the transfer, but then the following season he could take part. And this is the season that got Dalano Banton drafted, because in this season with Nebraska, he was much improved. If we look at the statistics, he had 9.6 points per game, 4 assists, about 6 rebounds on shooting that's about 40% from the field, 25% from three, and nothing very spectacular in the free throw department either. So there wasn't really a lot to be super excited about this player unless you actually watch the game. Because, yesterday against the Pacers, the stats don't tell everything about Dalano Banton either. And NBA scouts seem to like something about this player. He was at the G League Elite Camp where they do strength testing, they do pace testing, their speed testing, and they also play scrimmages where Dalano Banton and all the physical things wasn't really that impressive. He was about average. In the speed department, he was quite fast, one of the fastest players at the camp. And in the games, the scrimmages, he averaged a 25% field goal percentage and a 0% three-point percentage, along with 4.5 assists per game. He really wasn't contributing much in those scrimmages. But something about that combine caught the eye of the Raptors. It might have been a guard who's very fast, who's 6'9", and he has a 6'11" wingspan, contrary to, the 7'1", 7'2" wingspan the Raptors and Masai Ujiri typically like to operate with. But they really liked the player based on the combine, and they decided to take a stab at him at 46th overall. Now, looking at the stats that this player possesses, looking at the tape of this player, he works and excels in transition with his speed and his ball handling, and we're seeing that in the NBA. But you could be forgiven if you didn't really think that would translate immediately to the NBA. Very reputable Raptors news network, Raptors HQ, even said that it's very likely that he won't pan out as a second-round pick. And, looking at the player, he's going to be certainly spending some time in the G League. And this is Raptors HQ, very reputable. And I also said, based on the draft, that he was going to take a while, and he was definitely going to be in the G League as well. But anybody would have said that based on what we saw from the player. We could have never expected him to generate such an impact 5 games into the season. Goran Dragic is a seasoned veteran in the NBA who almost helped carry the Miami Heat to the NBA Finals 2 seasons ago. He's getting benched for a 46th overall pick. Now, when we made the pick, I also mentioned, now this is just some pure coincidence, but Norman Powell got drafted 46th overall as well, and that one kind of worked out pretty well for us, and Dalano Banton 46th overall, maybe something else good would come of it. But this early, this quickly, and this much of an impact, we could not have expected that. And for a 46th overall pick to have that impact 5 games into a season, that's got to make him the steal of this draft. Obviously, it's going to be how they affect the game in terms of their career, but so far, the way he is looking, the way he affects defense, the way he affects the offense of this team, even without the stats, showcase that this could be the number 1 steal of the draft. And the reality is, a lot of second-round picks do not make it in the NBA. But Dalano Banton, 46 overall, already benching a first-round pick in Malachi Flynn, already benching a seasoned veteran, a seasoned and successful NBA veteran in Goran Dragic. And based off of the performance against the Indiana Pacers, I don't think any of that is going to change. I said in so many videos before the season started that Dalano Banton, Rexdale's finest, he would profit a lot from playing in the 905. I know that he can have an effect on the Raptors from day one. I understand that, but I didn't expect this impact. And even though he could have had that effect, and I believed he could have had that effect, I thought it would be more worthwhile for him to get more touches in the G League, be the primary focal point of the offense for the Raptors 905. That made more sense to me. But now looking at it, can the Raptors afford to let him go to the G League? He was with the G League team for their media day, for their photo shoot. So, the thinking is that he's probably going to be there. But after yesterday's game, if he produces similar performances against Orlando Magic on Friday, I imagine he had a lot of minutes there, and against the Pacers in the following game, where I imagine he's also going to get a lot of minutes. If he has the same effect, you can't afford to send him down. You simply cannot have him in the G League because you need him with your NBA team. When some things go wrong on the court for the Raptors, the energy isn't there, the pace isn't there, you can inject Dalano Banton into the game and he can just completely switch the narrative of the game. He can completely switch the pace and the momentum of the game. And the Raptors in some certain situations are absolutely going to need that. The jump shot was a big question of mine coming out of the draft. And I also explained that he was very raw, which he is. But he's already affecting the game like this, even though he is very raw. And his jump shot isn't quite polished yet. Now, yesterday, I don't know if that was a good indication because he was great yesterday from the shooting field, but I don't know about that consistency if that is there. But if he maintains that consistency, you're absolutely not sending this guy down to the Raptors 905. The way he can manipulate the game is fantastic. If the Raptors are knocking down threes and allowing a lot of floor spacing on offense as a result, Dalano Banton is going to thrive. Sometimes Turnovers are going to happen with a rookie in the NBA, but you understand the passion this guy has for the team and for the city. This guy is a Toronto Raptors fan and has been his whole life growing up in Rexdale. He wants to rep the team and he wants to do his best for the team. There's a little bit extra push as a result of having that hometown team, the hometown crowd behind you as well, because every time he checks into the game, the home crowd absolutely love it and make noise for Dalano Banton. The steal of the draft. If we have to assess the steal of the draft right now, I mean, you're looking at maybe like Cam Thomas. Maybe you're looking at, I don't know, Chris Duarte, but he was a lottery pick. I think you got to consider a 46 overall pick having an effect like this is insane to see in the NBA. It's very rare for it to happen. The Raptors have seemingly done it twice with Norman Powell and possibly Dalano Banton. I'm excited to see what he can produce over the rest of the season. I'm curious to see if they still do send him down to the G League, because I said they should do it, but based on what I've seen right now, I just don't think he can. I think you got to keep him with the Raptors for the rest of the season. Let me know what you guys think. Should Dalano Banton be in the G League, or should Dalano Banton stay with the actual Raptors NBA team? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, because that is it for me for today. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. Please give it a like if you did enjoy. It goes a long way to helping the channel grow, and let's get to 250 likes on today's video. And also make sure you're subscribed to Amateur Sports for 4+ Raptors videos every single week to keep you entertained with Amateur Hour Sports. On the screen right now in the top right corner, the purple logo is my vlog channel. I'm going to be at the Raptors game on Friday and vlogging my experience. You can check out that vlog on Saturday by subscribing to that channel. And in the bottom right corner is Amateur Clips, where we post the best highlights from our Twitch streams, including a post-game show for every single game, including the one from yesterday. Go check it out with the orange logo in the bottom right corner. We'll see you again next time for another video.